Good evening. I'm Linda Cole. I'll be presiding over the town board meeting this evening. Would you please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Lisa, will you please read the roll?
Cole.
Here.
Metzler.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Quinn.
Here.
Okay, we communications announcements. Lisa, do you have anything?
I do. Penfield residents in need of a new or updated passport are invited to attend Passport Night in Penfield on Thursday, April 6th from 5:30 to 7:30 here at the Penfield Town Hall, 3100 Atlantic Avenue. This service comes to Penfield through a partnership with Monroe County. Please call the town clerk's office at 340-8627 to sign up in advance. However, registration is not required. For application requirements and information, residents can visit the county clerk's website at monroecounty.gov/clerk-passports.php.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Linda. Good evening, everyone, and happy spring. Just a few safety tips and a reminder for our residents this evening. The recent wind and snowstorms in Penfield have many of us facing cleanup efforts on our properties and damages to our home. It is important to remind residents to be wary of possible service scams in the area. Many contractors go door to door to offer tree removal, roofing and siding repairs, or even insurance. Some of these individuals may not have your best interests in mind, but rather are looking for personal financial gain. Please work with your current insurance company or a known contractor regarding damage to your home. Ask your insurance agent for recommendations in finding a reliable tree removal and housing repair service if you have not worked with one in the past. Excuse me. Second, anyone in the process of cleaning up their yard should keep in mind the following safety tips. Please leave the cutting and pruning of trees that are near, down, or hanging power lines to the professionals. Never attempt to remove tree limbs or branches that may be entangled in power lines. Using power equipment like saws and wood splitters can pose a safety hazard. Be sure to understand and follow the safety guidelines of the equipment. Finally, be sure to avoid planting new trees underneath utility lines to reduce any future issues. And lastly, a final reminder, while it is spring, winter parking rules remain in effect through Saturday, April 1st, which means no parking is allowed on all roadways in Penfield during the overnight hours between 2 a.m. and 7 a.m. For more safety tips and information, please visit penfield.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula.
I have one announcement this evening. The Young, Open, and Honest Players will be performing J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit on Friday, March 31st and Saturday, April 1st, beginning at 7 p.m. Directed by Emma Milligan, these performances will be held at the Penfield Community Center. Tickets are $10 for adults and $5 for students. For more information, please call 340-8655 or visit penfieldrec.org. That's all I have for this evening.
My first announcement's regarding the windstorm and the snowstorm. You know, the reason why we have our meeting tonight, we're having a legislative session and a work session on the same night, is that we missed the past two meetings due to the windstorm and the snowstorm. And due to the damage that occurred townwide during the windstorm of March 8th, the town of Penfield will be providing residents with a one-time roadside pickup of fallen limbs, branches, and brush. Our DPW crews will begin the pickup process the week of March 27th. Residents can go to penfield.org for details, dates, instructions regarding the brush pickup for their neighborhood. Please note, as public safety remains a priority of the town, scheduled dates posted on our website may be interrupted to prioritize snow removal on town roads or for any other emergencies requiring the immediate attention of our highway crews. Extended brush drop-off hours at DPW facility at 1607 Jackson Road will run until Monday, March 27th. If you have any questions regarding pickup or drop-off, call Penfield DPW at 585-340-8710, or again, refer to the town's website at penfield.org. And my other announcement is that, I have a community chat once a month, and my upcoming community chat for April will be Tuesday, April 18th from 5:30 to 7 in the new book area at the Penfield Library. Thank you. Andy?
Thank you. I'm honored to partner with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office in offering and hosting the Operation Safe Child, which will be held on Saturday, April 22nd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. here at the Penfield Town Hall. Operation Safe Child is an opportunity for Penfield residents to get an up-to-date Safe Child identification card with biographical information on it. The Safe Child ID card can be quickly used by law enforcement agencies, whether at the village or at the town level or county or state police, in an unfortunate event such as a child being missing or abducted. If you want more information on that, you can go to the town's calendar under the date of Saturday, April 22nd, and there's a little bit more information about what the Safe Child ID is about, what it does per the State Department of Criminal Justice Services. Participants at the event will be helped on a first-come, first-served basis. If you need any additional information, you can always reach me at more@penfield.org. Again, Operation Safe Child, Safe ID will be offered on Saturday, April 22nd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. here at the Penfield Town Hall in partnership with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Next on our agenda is public participation. We have public participation at the beginning of the meeting and at the end. Lisa, did anybody sign up to speak?
No, no one has.
Is there anyone that would like to speak on any topic? Anyone? Okay. Additions and deletions to the agenda, do we have any? I don't think so.
No.
And approval of the minutes.
Oh, yes, we do have a
We do?
resolution that was added, 17T086,
17.
for the purchase of a 2017 Case 580N4 WD backhoe.
We do have that. Thank you. Is there a motion to add it to the
I'll move to
agenda?
add that.
I will second that.
Okay, thank you. All right. And approval of the minutes from February 15th. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Well, it's have roll call, but, okay. No petitions? I don't believe we have any petitions, do we?
No.
No? Okay, let's start the resolutions by function. Lisa?
Appointment of Stephen Ferrara to the Board of Assessment Review.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas Stephen Ferrara on Panorama Trail has expressed an interest in serving on the Board of Assessment Review. Now be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Penfield appoint Mr. Ferrara to a 5-year term of the Board of Assessment Review of the Town of Penfield. Such term expires on September 30th, 2021.
Is there any comments, anything?
No.
Okay, would you read the roll call?
Cole,
Aye.
Metzler,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Appointment of temporary members to the Board of Assessment Review.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas Article 5, Section 523A of the New York State Real Property Tax Law allows the legislative body of any local government in any year deemed necessary to appoint temporary members of the Board of Assessment Review to serve as administrative hearing panel members. Now be it resolved that the Town Board of Town of Penfield appoint the following residents to serve 1-year terms as temporary members of the Board of Assessment Review provided under this Section 523A of the New York State Real Property Tax Law. The term shall commence September 30th, 2016 and end September 30th, 2017. First person is Craig Shumeli on 5 Mile Line Road, and second member is Eugene Oliver on City View Drive. Thank you.
Okay. Any discussion? You call for the vote?
Cole,
Aye.
Metzler,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Okay.
Adoption of Local Law Number 1 of 2017 to be known as a local law extending the moratorium and prohibition within the town of Penfield of public golf course redevelopment.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the Town of Penfield and the Penfield Town Board wishes to adopt proposed Local Law 1 of 2017, which should extend a moratorium and prohibition within the Town of Penfield of redevelopment of public golf courses for a period of approximately 1 year. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Penfield held a public hearing at the Penfield Town Hall on March 1st, 2017 at 7 p.m. on said date to consider said proposal and to hear all persons interested in the question of the adoption of this local law 1 of 2017. And a public hearing was closed and a decision was reserved. Now therefore be resolved and hereby enacted by the Penfield Town Board as follows. Local Law 1 of 2017, herein after set forth, Town of Penfield, Local Law 1 of 2017, a local law extending the moratorium and the prohibition of public golf course redevelopment within the Town of Penfield. Thank you.
Any discussion?
I'd just like to add real quickly, there's more information on this local law. If you go to the actual resolution on the town website, it does provide you some detailed background information in 3 sections, if you're interested in taking a look at that. Also, real quickly, I made some statements back at the public hearing a couple weeks ago, and I really felt it was important to just reiterate those statements again today. As I said last year at this time, I spoke in full support of this board enacting a 1-year moratorium on the Shadow Pines property. Having grown up at 102 Huntington Meadow, I have seen the transition of this property go from fields to farming to a golf course. Today, I stay true to my core belief that a massive 290 or 250, you hear different amounts, residential development on this land is not in the best interest of Penfield residents. Its impact on traffic, town infrastructure, and our schools, among other things, could be staggering. Simply, it would change the existing character of this part of our town. I respect the fact that not everybody agrees with my support for this moratorium, and as I have said in the past, I'm willing to accept this criticism. At the same time, I'm extremely grateful for all the support from the Penfield community and those outside the town of Penfield. Whether it was someone stopping me at Wegmans or many of the town events, an email, a phone call, Facebook, or even someone talking to my wife at a school event, the support has been overwhelming, and I thank you. I'm firmly committed to continuing the moratorium on Shadow Pines. It is the right thing to do. Thank you.
Anything else?
Just briefly, certainly I concur with Councilman Moore. I'm in support of extending this moratorium. It's been a year already, but it has been an active year in that we've had a committee of residents and staff committed to providing us with their recommendations with respect to this very important parcel in our town. And I also, although he's not here, I want to reiterate my commendation of Supervisor LaFountain and his leadership over the course of this past year. We've had him certainly steering the ship in this regard. It's a sensitive matter. It's a sensitive matter for residents. It's a sensitive matter for the property owner. And I certainly have been very confident from the get-go in that Supervisor LaFountain was the first person in this town to use the word moratorium. It was his idea, and he was the first person to spearhead that. And that's very comforting from a leadership standpoint to know that even before the community is embracing our process and has embraced our idea, the idea came from the top down. That's very comforting, and it shows certainly tremendous leadership by his administration. So as Andy indicated, we've had certainly a groundswell of support for our action by the community. Different groups have formed, and we've heard from different people across the community, and that's very helpful to us as we continue this very hard work that we have ahead of us as far as working towards a good resolution for the town and for its residents with respect to this very important parcel. So I fully support extending the moratorium and keeping the wheels turning that Supervisor LaFountain has kept turning for this whole year.
Okay, Lisa, would you like to call for the vote?
Cole?
Aye.
Metzler?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes.
All right. Public Works.
Appointment to the Conservation Board.
Moved.
Second.
Be it resolved that Paul Sugnet be appointed to the Conservation Board for a term expiring December 31st, 2017, at an annual salary to be established by the town board.
Call for the vote?
Cole?
Aye.
Metzler?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. appointment to the Watershed Management Committee.
Moved.
Second.
Be it resolved that Harold Mellors of Woodfield Drive is appointed to the Watershed Management Committee for a term expiring December 31st, 2017. And I just have a couple comments regarding this appointment. As you may or may not know, I am the liaison both to the Conservation Board as well as the Watershed Management Committee. Supervisor LaFountain and I sit on that committee. It's, I believe, one of the most important committees in our town. Many people aren't aware of what the Watershed Management Committee does. They are the committee that keeps track of the drainage in the town and keeps track of the different watersheds, and they tour the watersheds, and we meet every month and talk about drainage issues, prioritizing drainage projects for our public works crew. I've said for a long time that drainage, I think, is the most important issue that affects all residents on many different levels. And I was very happy that Harold Mellors was interested in serving on the Watershed Management Committee, because this is a perfect example of how an active resident for their own cause in their neighborhood has now become an important part of a committee. Mr. Mellors lives on Woodfield Drive. We just had a big pond project there, and you'll hear me talk about Woodfield Drive in another resolution. And Mr. Mellors was tremendously helpful to our committee as far as the pond problems that they were having, in 2 ponds in that neighborhood. And he came to every meeting, and he presented us with ideas that some of the professionals on our committee had not even thought of before, as far as how to treat the ponds in an environmentally sound way, in a cost-effective way, and in a way that was acceptable to the neighborhood. So by his becoming kind of involved that way with our committee, he now will serve on the committee going forward, and be an important voice for residents who are near the ponds and some of these tributaries. So I was very pleased that Harold is going to be joining us in more of an official capacity and sitting around the table versus in the audience. But he's certainly, this board is very accepting, and we certainly like to see when we have a resident who's active in the neighborhood who then expresses an interest to carry that forward after their problem's been solved. We welcome him to the Watershed Management Committee.
Thank you, Paula. Lisa?
Cole?
Aye.
Metzler?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Authorization for the supervisor to sign a site access agreement for 49 Woodfield Drive.
Moved.
Second.
I would just like to mention, Deputy Supervisor, that the name is listed as Howard Mellors, and it should be Harold Mellors. So a correction can be made on the final resolution. This resolution is authorizing the supervisor to sign a site access agreement with Harold Mellors, 49 Woodfield Drive, that authorizes the town of Penfield to enter the property located at 49 Woodfield Drive, north of the intersection of Woodfield Drive and Sampson Drive, to place away with geese equipment units on the property for the purpose of getting rid of nuisance geese. This agreement is to be acceptable to the town attorney.
Any other comments?
I do have comments on this resolution as well. I just mentioned Mr. Mellors. This is part of his work with the Watershed Management Committee on behalf of his neighborhood. They have had an extensive problem with geese. I know I've walked door to door in that neighborhood for years, and there's evidence of geese everywhere, and geese residue in the streets. So I'm very familiar with that neighborhood, both as having walked it and talked with residents, and also for being on the Watershed Management Committee. So what this resolution is going to do is allow the town to have access to the property. When people hear about getting rid of geese, certainly people get nervous about how we're going to do that. And there have been some issues in Webster where there was some concern that the town of Webster was going to be inhumanely getting rid of geese. And I wanted to make sure that with respect to this resolution, that our residents are aware that we are humanely detracting the geese. We are not getting rid of the geese permanently. And again, the Watershed Management Committee has been instrumental in coming up with this initiative. They are solar-powered lights. They're kind of bronze lights that will be placed in certain areas around the pond, what it does is the geese will sit and kind of hibernate and congregate and settle where they feel safe. And when these lights go on, the lights make them not feel safe and detract them from wanting to be in that area. And so they will go off their way onto some other area, maybe Webster, I don't, but they head north. But I wanted to make sure that people knew that this was a humane way of dealing with nuisance geese, and certainly there's no poison involved, there's no those chemicals involved. It is solar powered detraction reflector lights, for lack of a better term. I call it kind of a geese disco. I think it's going to be created, and they're not going to want to stick around. So hopefully, we're hoping that that's going to really help in that area, and we know Mr. Mellors will be right on top of it for him and his neighbors, and it'll be also kind of a pilot project as well to see if in other areas around town we can also use this real environmentally wise and humane way of detracting the geese.
Thank you for all that information. Appreciate it. Lisa?
Cole?
Aye.
Metzler?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Awarding contract for printing program brochures.
So moved.
Second.
Whereas sealed proposals were sought and requested to furnish the Town of Penfield Recreation Department with printing the seasonal program brochure for the 2017 calendar year, including the summer, fall, and winter-spring issues, to meet our specifications. And whereas on Thursday, February 10th, 2017, proposals from the following companies were received, opened, and read publicly by the town clerk: Penny Lane Printing, Webster Printing Corp., and Indiana Printing and Publishing Company. Now therefore be it resolved that the contract be awarded to Penny Lane Printing, low bidder overall, for bid 2, including alternative number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5 on each respective bid. Thank you.
Okay. Any discussion on this? Ayes. Lisa?
Cole?
Aye.
Metzler?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Okay. that-
Purchase of 2017 Case 580N for WD backhoe.
This will be new business, moved.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Moved.
I
You kind of jumped there a little.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we had no old business. This is new business.
New business.
And Paul has moved it. Is
I
there a
will second.
Okay.
And this resolution authorizes the Director of Public Works to purchase one 2017 Case four-wheel drive backhoe from the New York State Group Award from Monroe Tractor for a total cost of approximately $81,850.75, whereas the total funds of approximately $81,850.75 for the purchase are budgeted in the 2017 DPW Highway Department budget. Now therefore be it resolved that the Director of Public Works is authorized to purchase the piece of equipment per the bid sheet.
Okay, any further discussion on this?
I'll just mention, as Chair of Public Works, this is an area that I work on and that we as a board work on every year. We go through equipment, and equipment's very costly. It's certainly a very big budget line item for Department of Public Works. And we saw that this purchase of the backhoe would certainly enable our highway crews to get some projects done quicker, do more, not have to either subcontract or rent out this piece of equipment. And it's also been a piece of equipment that we've needed for a couple of years, and we've held off because of the amount of purchase. We've really stretched out some of our equipment purchases from year to year so that we are not saddling the budget and therefore our taxpayers with too much of an equipment purchase within 1 year. So we were able to do that this year and do it within budget. So that's what is going to be purchased by this resolution.
Okay, thank you. Lisa?
Cole?
Aye.
Metzler?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Okay, so we're up to our second moment of public participation. Does anybody in the audience like to speak? Okay. And that'll be the end of our agenda. Our next meeting, it'll be in April. It'll be April 5th, same time, same place. And we will end this meeting. We're going to go to the next meeting. So I would adjourn this meeting for tonight, and we will be moving into the back of the area. And you can follow us if you'd like for our next work session. Thank you.